Some pretty crazy news released recently. I don't like to keep people in suspense, so I'll just tell you. The Georgia Guidestones got attacked. They were blown up recently. Check this out. This is actual footage of it. Now, if you don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are and why a conspiracy theorist would blow them up in the first place, I'm going to explain. So just bear with me for a second. We'll get there. This is the video of the Guidestones being blown up. Check this out. 3:32 in the morning, July 6th. Boom. It's CCTV footage, I guess. Massive explosion. Just destroyed them. This is drone footage from after they were destroyed. This is the damage that was done. Pretty serious. They're basically ruined. Like, that's it. That's the end of the line for the Guidestones, unfortunately. I don't know what they used to destroy it, but apparently there's like, I don't think it's not an FBI investigation, but it's like a GBI investigation, like Georgia Bureau of Investigation. It's the state version. And they were destroyed so badly, like they were so badly damaged, they just had to take them down. They just took them down. This is the next day, July 7th. Okay, so what are they? That's the question, right? What are the Georgia Guidestones? Why should anybody care? And why are there even conspiracy theorists out there who are so wound up about it that they'd be willing to commit multiple felonies and plant a bomb on it and blow it up? The Georgia Guidestones are a monument that were constructed, I think, in the 1980s, that may be planned in the 1970s, by somebody who goes by R.C. Christian. That's all we know about them. There are a few people who know who it was, but they swore an oath of secrecy to not reveal their real name. And it was just the people who created them in the first place, like who sourced the granite or whatever it is, and who actually etched in the inscriptions and stuff. No one else really knows exactly who it is, but the Georgia Guidestones are honestly kind of weird. Like, the inscriptions on there are kind of strange, don't really make much sense. The Guidestones are designed to be a compass, a calendar, and a guide to rebuild civilization in the event of, like, a nuclear war. They were called America's Stonehenge for a while. Here's what was inscribed. It was in, like, I don't know, 10 different languages or something. It says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. That's actually good advice. You know, the earth can only sustain 2 billion people. We can't have more than that or we deplete the resources. So 500,000 is a good number. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Not super sure about that one. That sounds like eugenics. I'm not really a fan of that. Kind of weird, but okay. Unite humanity with a living new language. Okay, I suppose. That's not so bad. If you all use the same language, it would be more convenient. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. I'm all for tempered reason, I suppose. I don't know what any of that other stuff has to do with it, but yeah, tempered reason, that's good. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Seems obvious. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Again, seems obvious. That's what we do now. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Love it so far. Balance personal rights with social duties. Again, seems obvious. Prize truth, beauty, love-seeking harmony with the infinite. Have no idea what that means. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Okay, again, seems obvious, but all right. That's nice, I suppose. Some of it's questionable. Some of it is obvious. I mean, it's just kind of a weird thing. So why are people all bent out of shape about it? Like, who cares, right? It's just a gigantic calendar with a few weird sayings on it. As it turns out, QAnoners and Trump supporters alike have gone completely off the hinges over the Georgia Guidestones. They believe that it was erected by the Cabal, which is like this. It's basically like the new Illuminati. It's the new word that QAnon uses to describe the Illuminati. They think it was erected by the Cabal in an attempt to depopulate the planet. I mean, I'm trying to do an Alex Jones voice here. Alex Jones was one of the original people who first started attacking the Guidestones. So I just wanted to take a quick glance at this article about it. This is on Washington Post. Just see what it had to say about the Guidestones here. It was written July 7th, the day after they were destroyed. The title is Far Right Called U.S. Stonehenge Satanic and Cheered When It Blew Up. Granite monoliths inscribed with cryptic messages were blown up in rural Georgia early Wednesday, leaving behind a legacy of mystery that stretches from their origin to their destruction. Again, we don't know who originally petitioned to have them put up, but we know who actually grafted the granite and all of the other stuff. So it's not really that mysterious, but whatever. Video footage released by law enforcement shows a car leaving the scene shortly after the blast, although the GBI did not specify whether the driver was connected to the incident. Later in the day, authorities demolished the whole monument, citing safety reasons. Right-wing conspiracy theorists such as InfoWars founder Alex Jones have seized on the edicts as proof of a nefarious globalist scheme. In a 2008 documentary, he pointed to the granite slabs as evidence that global elites were plotting to enslave most of the world. During the coronavirus pandemic, misinformation circulated that linked the emergence of the virus to the Guidestones. Hadn't heard that one. I'm going to have to look that one up. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has spread and supported unfounded conspiracy theories, told Jones in an interview Wednesday that the monument represented a future of population control as envisioned by the hard left. The hard left has no interest in population control, whatever that means. I don't consider myself hard left, but I feel I can speak for the hard left in saying they don't want population control in the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene views it. Like, yeah, we should try to reduce the number of carbon-emitting humans that are in the world. That doesn't mean we want population control and cap it at 500,000 and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just bizarre. There's a war of good and evil going on, and people are done with globalism, she said, adding that she would wait for the results of the investigation. The Guidestones also got a mention in the state's GOP gubernatorial primary this year. Educator Candace Taylor, who finished a distant third to the victorious incumbent Brian Kemp, pledged to dismantle the monument and fight the Luciferian cabal that she suggested was behind it. Yeah, Candace Taylor, she was in the race to become the governor. She's running against Brian Kemp in the Republican primary. She got 6.5%. 6.5%. Let's watch her campaign ad. Came out early May 2022. By the way, if you don't know who this is, let me jog your memory. She's the Guns, Babies, Jesus lady. She had those 3 words emblazoned across the side of her campaign bus, famously, when she was campaigning in Georgia. Guns, Babies, Jesus. That's who this woman is. All right, let's watch this clip, early May 2022.
They told us what they wanted to do. Some might even say they had to get our permission to at least tell us ahead of time, even if we didn't believe them.
This is propaganda, by the way. The way that all of this operates is in a propagandistic way. Like, showing her hand with a wedding ring on it is hinting to people that she's in favor of one man, one woman type of marriage. I mean, it's all propagandistic stuff.
Over 4 billion people have been injected with something that took just 9 months to create.
Once again, propaganda. The vaccine is perfectly safe, and we know that without a shadow of a doubt at this point. Like she said, I mean, 4.5 billion something shots have been administered, and people are not dying en masse. But none of the facts matter to her. This is political propaganda. That's how it works. They take facts out of context and try to make it seem ridiculous or seem dangerous. Here's another example of political propaganda. Trump says no sitting president has ever received more votes, ever. And he uses that as evidence that he actually won secretly. What he's ignoring is that more people voted in this election than ever, and Biden got like 8 million more than him or something, or 6 million more. I don't remember exactly how many more. He got significantly more votes than him. Nobody has ever received more votes than Biden did. No sitting president has received more votes than Trump did. Being a sitting president has nothing to do with whether or not he won. That is how propaganda works. Take facts out of context and apply extra information to them to make people think that your side is more reasonable when it's not. So what we're looking at here is the Georgia Guidestones.
Ask yourself why. Back in biblical times, human sacrifice was a form of demonic worship.
Yeah, that's where we're at now with these people. We're going down this road. This is a governor candidate, or was. She lost, of course, luckily. But seriously, a candidate for governor, U.S. governor, is saying this stuff.
Of demonic worship. We're still doing it in present day by killing our unborn. It's the same demons, it's the same sacrifice, it's the same sin. It's just a different time.
Demons aren't real, Candace. They're in your head. Are the demons in the room with us right now, Candace?
This is a long shot in and of itself, running for governor against an incumbent. Why are you doing this?
If we don't call things out and we don't acknowledge them and we don't take authority and take dominion over what God's given us.
The reason she emphasized the word dominion there, again, every word in this is picked very specifically. It's propaganda. The reason she picked the word dominion is because she's a dominionist. What that means is she wants to replace she wants to replace the Constitution with the Ten Commandments. That's the goal. She is specifically setting out to turn this into a theocracy run by pastors, not by government officials. She wants to replace government officials with preachers. That's what dominionism is, and that's why she emphasized the word.
And take dominion over what God's given us, then we are no better than the evil ones that put it up. We've watched as people have destroyed our history and monuments, and in their place, they have erected statues to their own gods.
She flashed the Georgia Guidestones on screen here and said that we erected statues to our own gods, i.e. the Georgia Guidestones are statues to false gods, apparently.
Statues to their own gods. The New World Order is here, and they told us it was coming. It's a battle far greater than what we see in the natural. It is a war between good and evil.
So Executive Order 10, she's standing out here next to the Georgia Guidestones, and it says, Executive Order 10, demolish the Georgia Guidestones. Georgia governor candidate. Interestingly enough, this guy named Stu Peters helped her make that political propaganda ad. This is Stu Peters on the left. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I've talked about him a few times on the Fireside chat channel and stuff. Give it a look. I mean, just search for Stu Peters on my channel and it'll come right up. He actually recently came out as a flat earther, interestingly enough. Yeah, this is his message. So here's the deal on the flat earth question. I'm an inquisitive person. I ask a lot of questions. I'm a passionate person. I speak my mind. I'm an alpha male. I don't care what anyone thinks. Oh my God, dude. This is just so deeply cringy. I cannot stand it. I'm an investigator. I look for evidence. Since I have recently been considering this conundrum, I have not seen any evidence to suggest that there's any truth to what NASA or the government has been telling me since birth. I don't believe them. I will not be gaslighted into just believing a lie or assuming something is truth because it's repeated relentlessly. If the globe is round, someone is going to have to prove it to me. Just like viruses are real, vaccines are safe, and elections are fair. Wow. Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. I love it to death. I eat it up. Anyway, that's Stu Peters, flat earther extraordinaire. He helped Candace Taylor make that ad that we just saw. Listen to them talking about it. Oh, and by the way, before we watch this video with Stu Peters and Candace Taylor, one more thing I wanted to mention. Did you notice in her ad, her political ad, she said, somebody was talking to her in the car and they said, you know, this is a long shot. Why are you doing this? And she said, we need to take dominion, blah, blah, blah. She knew it was a long shot, right? She knew she had very low chances of actually winning any primaries or anything at all. And you want to guess what she did as soon as she lost with 6.5% of the vote? She refused to concede and said it was stolen from her. Of course. I can't imagine she actually believes she lost. She decided to go the old destroy democracy route. Genius. Anyway, let's watch this clip with Stu Peters and Candace Taylor talking about their ad and the Georgia Guidestones. This one came out early May 2022.
You're going to absolutely destroy the Georgia Guidestones, demolish them, bulldoze them, and reject their demonic message once and for all. You're the only candidate willing to go head-to-head with the Luciferian cabal.
Is there any wonder who actually destroyed them, honestly? Do we really have to sit here and wonder? We know exactly who destroyed them. I mean, we don't know this specific person. But it was a conspiracy theorist, right? A Candace Taylor fan, a Stu Peters fan, a Trump fan. One of those three groups. I'm putting my reputation on the line and betting that whoever destroyed them is fans of one of those three people. Let's keep listening.
Willing to go head-to-head with the Luciferian cabal. You went to these Georgia Guidestones with our executive producer, Lauren Witzke, and part of our film division.
Lauren Witzke is a white supremacist, a Christian nationalist, and also a Senate candidate. She won the primary, I believe, in Delaware in 2020, but she lost the general election to become the next senator, I think. White supremacist, extremist, complete nutcase, to say the least. Oh, and she works for Stu Peters, the flat earther. Let's keep listening.
How did you feel when you were there?
It was overwhelming, really. You know, it's kind of surreal.
It was surreal because she believes the Georgia Guidestones to be satanic. She believes they were constructed by apostates of Satan who went out there and built them up for him, acted as his hands or whatever. That's why it's surreal.
Surreal. And I was kind of in awe of how many people showed up there, and the people walking up there, they looked like they were walking up there trying to find something, looking for something. And, you know, in my heart, I was in the car praying.
They were looking for the Georgia Guidestones. They were there to see a monument. They were the American Stonehenge. They were really cool. 20 feet tall almost. They're a tourist attraction. Yeah, we know what they were looking for.
In the car praying, they're looking for you, Jesus. They're looking for you. And as they're looking for you, they're finding this in my state, that's in the Bible Belt, that's conservative. And it made my skin crawl.
They're not looking for Jesus there.
No, but they're looking for him and don't know where he is. And they're going to this satanic place, hoping to find something to satisfy that need.
My God, am I glad she lost her election. This is not a satanic place. These were not constructed by the cabal. It's just a calendar. My God, how did Stonehenge survive so long, honestly? If this is how society operates, if this is how conspiracy theories spread, it's nuts. Apparently, Stu Peters put out a whole video about this. Satanic Georgia Guidestones crumble as all-out spiritual warfare gets heated. And I am so excited to listen to this because it's got to be interesting, right? This dude is an absolute wingnut. Absolute wingnut. It's not a party unless Alex Jones shows up, right? Alex Jones decided to get in on the action and give us his 2 cents about the Georgia Guidestones being destroyed. Listen to what he had to say on the subject. This one came out early July 2022.
The GMO foods, the electromagnetic radiation, through this cultural satanic attack. What are we going to do when they've got a monument put up by Ted Turner and the New World Order, who heads up a major eugenics group, got Bill Gates in depopulation?
Wow, that's a lot of buzzwords. Can I even pick them out? A GMO, satanic something or other, Ted Turner. My God, there were a lot of words in there.
Who heads up a major eugenics group, got Bill Gates in depopulation, setting up this announcement of evil.
So the Georgia Guidestones, this is what he's saying. Georgia Guidestones were an announcement of evil. He believes that the Georgia Guidestones were constructed by Bill Gates and Ted Turner, George Soros, and all the other boogeymen they've got over there. And they were an announcement of what they intended to do with the world. I have no idea what brought them to that conclusion. Certainly not logic, but all right, let's keep listening.
I would rather have everybody go out there and shoot their own videos and talk about it and expose it. By blowing it up, yeah, it brings limited attention to it, but at the end of the day, it then invites this idea that we're like the left destroying knowledge or tearing things down.
The left destroys knowledge and tears things down? That's interesting. Interesting to hear you say that. Well, first of all, I have to say, statues of Confederate soldiers are not knowledge. Now, the Georgia Guidestones, they might qualify as knowledge because it had writing on it and it could act as a calendar. So I could qualify these as knowledge, but Confederate soldiers' statues are not knowledge and don't deserve to stay up. There's no reason for those to stay up. I find it really interesting that Alex Jones is even taking the position that we shouldn't be tearing down or destroying the Georgia Guidestones anyways. Aside from that, I really want to focus in on what he said about the left destroying knowledge. That's an interesting point to make. Only a couple months after Greg Locke held a very public book burning at his church.
Dump it, throw it in. Don't breathe that mess back into you. All right, let that stuff burn, let it go. But we're going to start this stuff. We got all kind of Masonic stuff. We got devilish stuff. We got every bit of kind of witchcraft, spell books, everything you can imagine. And this thing is full, so.
Or after Andrew Womack very publicly at his church said he has spies inside the school system going through the school libraries trying to find any homosexual books he can find to destroy them or report them.
I sent a spy into our public school system to check out what the books are. And I got a list of, I think it was 54 books in the Woodland Park school system. And this is a small place, 7,000 people in the community, and there's 54 homosexual books that we know of. And I got a list of that. And I've got people that are on my staff that go to every school board meeting, and as soon as we get them looked at so that we can defend what we're saying, we're going to stand up in the school board. We also ran, and we now have a number of our Charis graduates that are on school board, and we've got Christians in places, and praise God, we're seeing things change.
Interesting thing to say after school systems have been going through their libraries banning books about the Holocaust, like the book Mouse. Not long ago, I bought a copy of the book Mouse because it was banned by school systems in the United States. Nothing more than a book about the Holocaust. It was a graphic novel describing a person's experience as a Jewish person during the Holocaust in Germany, or maybe Poland, I don't remember where they were, in the 1940s. No, it's the left destroying knowledge. Absolutely. It's the left that wants to ban things and shut people up. It's the left. Totally. Absolutely. That checks out. 100%, Alex. For what it's worth, local business owners said that they intended to try to rebuild the Georgia Guidestones. This is all conspiracy nonsense. I don't really care one way or another about the Georgia Guidestones. I think they had weird, questionable advice on them. But I don't like to see what I think qualify as domestic terrorists at this point. I don't like to see them win. So I hope they do reconstruct them just to make a point. Warhawk 9566, literal terrorism. I don't know how significant the Guidestones were, but this is no different than the Taliban blowing up the Buddha statue. Absolutely. 100%. I agree. The Guidestones weren't significant. They weren't significant religiously or in any other context, really. They were just a monument, a tourist attraction. But blowing up architecture like that because you disagree with it religiously, it's part of your religious belief that it's evil and satanic, that's terrorism right there, for sure. Just like the Taliban. The Quiet Knitter, are the Guidestones an example of stochastic terrorism? Yes, absolutely are. Yeah, that's a really good example. You demonize something or somebody for long enough, what you end up with is an extremist out there who's willing to go to disturbing, crazy lengths to accomplish the goals that you set out. Somebody should do something about this person. Somebody should do something about Dr. Tiller. Somebody should do something about these Georgia Guidestones. They're evil. They're satanic. They're a plot by the cabal to destroy blah, blah, blah. Within a few months, guess what? Those Guidestones have been destroyed. That is stochastic terrorism, absolutely.